picking up the live stream. And you can go ahead and go.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this our meeting, June 25th, 2024 meeting to order. I do notice we have a couple members who are not with us tonight. Do we know if they are absent or excused?
You're excused, Mr. Robinson. They notified us in advance for medical reasons.
Okay, so that's Mr. Sheldon Williams and Dr. Gershio, correct?
Yes.
All right, my apologies on the phone. All right, did everyone have a chance to review the minutes from the 5/28 meeting? And if so, can we get a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right. Do we need any additions or corrections? If not, do we need a second for the minutes as well?
I believe since there were no amendments offered, it can be adopted as distributed, Mr. Robinson.
Thank you, Ms. Pittenger. So the minutes from the 5/28/2024 meeting have been approved. I think at this point we typically have opening remarks by our chair. Our chair is not present. Do we know if does she have a report that was prepared?
No, sir.
All right, and so I guess the rest of the meeting, just to give an outline, we're going to go through our board business, then we'll go through our case reviews. We'll have a time for public comment at the end of the case reviews, which each potential person will be limited to 3 minutes. At this point, though, do we have a report from our executive director, Ms. Binder?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Robinson. Good evening, everyone. It's nice to see everyone. Here we are in June already. That's year flying by, halfway through. Our intake thus far is 107 complaints. It might be of interest to you to know where those complaints are coming from, what zones, because over time we see they kind of move around. For this purpose, this snapshot, Zone 2 produced the largest number of complaints at 23 complaints. And as you know, downtown pretty much covers that area, downtown area. And we've had a lot of reports of disorder in the downtown area over the last couple of months. So that's not really a surprise. But ordinarily, Zone 2 doesn't lead in the number of complaints received. The entertainment district, Zone 3, and Zone 1, each zone produced 19 complaints. Now, typically, because of the entertainment zone, the hospitality zone in Zone 3, there are a lot of complaints that come out of there. This was not to be expected. There's fewer complaints that I would have expected, but we'll see how the rest of the summer goes. But Zone 1 and Zone 3 each produced 19 complaints. Zone 5 produced 15. Zone 4 had 11, and Zone 6, 8. Now that's through yesterday, January 1st through June 24th. And it doesn't necessarily mean anything in particular about the police practice in those zones. It just tells us that people from those zones did bother to come forth and tell us about an experience that was less than satisfactory to them. Last month, we had a surprise benchmark moment for the board, and that was the impending departure of our solicitor, Bill Ward. At that time, Mr. Ward informed the board of his decision to leave his position as CPRB solicitor, and that in the contract that the board has with Rothman Gordon, his firm at the time, it was assignable by him. And in the course of assessing our options within the community and who could we approach about considering accepting the assignment for that contract. One individual kept coming to the top, and that was Mr. Alec Wright. Mr. Alec Wright is here with us tonight, and I believe he has some information to share with you, and you can have a generalized discussion with him if you so choose. But the board did consent at the June meeting to the assignment of the contract to Mr. Wright from Mr. Ward. I personally feel that we are very fortunate to have been able to enlist Mr. Wright because he's been a champion for social justice for years, and he's unwavering. A strong advocate, someone with a strong background in the type of situations that this board deals with, your weird positioning in city government, and being able to protect, promote, and defend your rights, responsibilities, and obligations. I believe that Mr. Ward left us in very good hands, and I'm very happy to introduce to you Mr. Alec Wright. Alec?
Thanks so much, Beth. I'm happy, first of all, to answer any questions that anybody may have for me today. I will tell you that when I was approached for this position, I was honored. I was very grateful. I think so highly of what the Citizens Police Review Board does and what it brings to the community at large, and how important these types of offices are to be independent throughout the country when we talk about social justice. And so I was very flattered, very honored, very humbled by it, and was very ready, willing, and able to accept it, immediately. And then, I had some concerns that have come to fruition to some degree as we sit here today, and I'll address those concerns and what they may be. Because of the work that I do when I wake up in the morning until the time that I go to bed, and that I've done for the last 10 years, I am a target, and I will always be a target. And one of the things that I was concerned with being a target and the type of work that I do is that the city of Pittsburgh would come after me for whatever reason. And so one of the issues that I always had was, is there some type of conflict that may exist as between my private practice as a civil rights trial attorney and my position as the solicitor of the Citizens Police Review Board? And so one of the reasons why you haven't met me yet, and one of the things that I have been doing, is my due diligence to make sure that I went and got ethics opinions professionally and governmentally to make sure that I was not in a position that I would be a conflict in any way, and that my private practice would not be jeopardized, nor would my position as the solicitor for the Citizens Police Review Board. I've had lengthy discussions with both the Allegheny County Bar Association and the City of Pittsburgh's Office on Ethics, who we, after those discussions, have determined and decided that there is no conflict for a variety of reasons as between my serving as the solicitor of this board and my private practice. On the professional responsibility side, my interests in my private practice are aligned with what it is that we seek to accomplish in the mission statement of the Citizens Police Review Board. And that's very important because it not only brings a level of not necessarily skill or experience, but just a devotion to trying to accomplish the things that we are to what we're doing. And that means I'm aligned in both my private practice and the mission of the Citizens Police Review Board, which is very important for all of us to understand. And one of the reasons why that's important is because there is always this very tiny percentage that confidential information could be learned while wearing the one hat that could be used while wearing the other hat, and vice versa. And I am assured that that does not present in and of itself an actual conflict. What it presents is a situation that, if should it ever arise, I would need informed consent from one of the two hats, whether it's a private client or whether it's the Citizens Police Review Board. And so there's an easy mechanism through which we can, and process through which we can go to ensure that no confidential information is ever traded from one side to the other. The other aspect of the professional ethics side of this is that I cannot ethically take a position that is materially adverse to a client. period. And because my interests align while wearing both hats, there isn't a likely circumstance where I would be misaligned with either one of the two hats that I would wear. And then the other question, so from a professional ethics standpoint, I have gone to both the ACBA and I have gone to both, and I've gone to the city of Pittsburgh's ethics office to do this, because I was concerned that somebody would come after me in my private practice and try to cut my knees out from under me, to be very, very honest about it. And that's what was my concern. And I'm very happy that I've got the opinions that we got and that it does work. The other one was a governmental ethics question, and simply, my responsibility now that I have those boxes checked to fill out the typical statements of financial information, do all the other stuff. And so now I present myself to all of you with this very awesome experience and opportunity to be with you. And so if anybody has questions for me, please ask me. Ask me whatever. But that's what's been going on. That's where we are. And I hope we all have a bright future in doing this together.
Thank you, Mr. Wright.
Too long
Members?
and rambling. I'm a lawyer, remember?
No, I thanks, Mr. Wright, for sharing that and for doing the due diligence. Because obviously, yeah, this does present a unique situation for all of us, I think, in all of our capacities, and obviously yours is even more unique as a solicitor for the board. So I appreciate you getting those opinions and sharing those with us this evening. Any other board members, thoughts, concerns, questions?
And Mr. Robinson, I appreciate that so much. And let me add to it, the Citizens Police Review, one of the reasons why I wanted to do the diligence is because the Citizens Police Review Board is my client now. And so I needed to make sure that, just like I would in private practice, just like I do in my family life, my social life, my personal life, that I can do this to the best of my ability with no restraints, period, because this is my client and this is my interest now. And so the reason for doing it was to ensure that I could do that to the full extent of my ability.
Thank you for the clarification. And I apologize if you hear my dog in the background barking.
I put my two outside.
Any other concerns or comments from the board?
I just wanted to welcome Mr. Wright aboard. You're recommended by Mr. Ward enthusiastically, so that's all I needed to hear. Welcome aboard. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Kotler. Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Shields.
Ms. Pittenger, did you have anything else as part of your report? I know you said you didn't have a lot, and I didn't know if it was just introducing Mr. Wright.
It was predominantly it. Although I did place on your agenda a request that we could appoint a date and time certain for a board development session. Members have asked that we have an opportunity to discuss the background, some of the procedural questions, some historical information that has situated us where we are in the whole process. And if we could set that date and time certain, I did put it in your old business, I believe. So you, Mr. Robinson, you can deal with it now or wait till you get to that item on the agenda. But that was the only other request I had of the board, that we could establish that. I had two dates in mind, a Monday and a Thursday in July. The 15th, I believe it was a Monday. And excuse me, the 20, no, because the board meeting is the 23rd, I believe. The 14th. No. Yeah, I guess it was Monday the 15th, and then the following Thursday, the 18th, I believe it is. Those were two dates that came to mind because it would be between now and our next board meeting. But I also realize it's summer. But what I had in mind was that we would just take an evening, an hour and a half, whatever remotely and have that discussion. I know Mr. Davis has been very interested in having some in-depth discussion about the policies and the practices of the board and some of the historical reasoning for why we do what we do the way we do it. And having a casual, relaxed conversation, I think, is probably the most effective way to clear up some of that and to share some of that information with members. Is there, Mr. Robinson, do you want me can we just do that now?
I was going to say, yeah, I think that it was at that point in the agenda anyway. So do we want to pull the team to see what days out of those two would work best for everybody?
Yes, July 15th is a no-go for me. I can make the 18th work.
Same, I'll be on vacation or coming back from vacation.
I was going to say the same. I will be at convention 15th, 16th, and 17th.
So everyone's can't do the 15th is what I'm hearing, correct?
Correct.
The other date I offered was Thursday, the 18th, but we can certainly move. Here's the other thing that happens. We have our board meeting on the 23rd, and then we go to August where there is no scheduled board meeting. We could do something in the beginning of August if you would prefer, since you don't have a board meeting that month.
August gets dicey for me, and if everybody else is okay with the 18th, I can make that happen on my end as well, provided we're doing the same time frame we're looking at. We're looking at the same time.
Yeah, I can do the 18th the same time in July.
18th works for me.
Okay, let's go with there. So we'll do our board development meeting on July 18th at 6 p.m. via Zoom.
It'd be wonderful. Thank you, members. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Robinson.
Yep. I think any new business for this evening? Hearing no comments, I think we can move to our case reviews. And Stephanie, do you have that pulled up yet?
Pulling it up now. Give me a second. I had to switch them out.
Looks like we have 7 cases for full investigation. I can see that while you're pulling that up.
Can you see it?
Yes. Well, I can see it. I'll look at mine. I can make mine bigger. But thank you. So yeah, it looks like we have case 06724, 05824, 05624, 03524, 03224, 03124, and 02024. All have been recommended for authorized for a full investigation. And we typically take votes on this, correct?
Yes, we need a motion to approve.
Yep. We have a motion to approve those 7 cases for a full investigation.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right. Any debate or discussion?
I have a question about one of these. 05824.
Yes.
It stated that no video footage was found on the Zoom or ring cams in the area of the incident. But it did state that the police unit activated its lights. Now, would that not have also activated the vehicle camera?
Do we have the investigator on the line?
Yes, this is
That's-
investigator.
Hey.
I'm still in the process of requesting documents from the Bureau. The information about the Ring camera was from a canvas of the neighborhood that I did walking around and speaking to the neighbors themselves. I wasn't able to gather information from them because they simply just didn't see anything. But once this goes to full, then I would request the documents and the ability to see any footage from the police bureau itself.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? Can we get a second on the motion to authorize these for full investigation?
I second the motion.
All right, and could we take a vote? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. All right, these 7 cases are authorized for full investigation. Next, we have 2 cases for a 30-day extension of the full investigation. We have 02924, 01724 from the executive director. Can I get a motion to authorize a 30-day investigation? Extension, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to extend.
Any questions or discussion around these? Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, all those in favor of a 30-day extension for these 2 cases, please say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed? All right, the motion to extend 30-day for full investigation for these 2 cases is approved. Next, we have 3 cases listed as unfounded: 02824, 00123 from the executive director, and 03522. Do we have a motion to authorize these to dismiss these as unfounded?
I'll make a motion to dismiss.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion or debate? Hearing none, take a vote. All those in favor of dismissing these 3 as unfounded, please say aye.
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 And any opposed, say no. All right. Motion to dismiss these 3 cases as unfounded is approved. We have no cases this month that were unsustainable. We do have 2 listed as other. The first, 02724, is being dismissed as resolved. Looks like the FOP union representative confirmed that the subject officer was disciplined for the incident and it was not appealed to arbitration, is therefore final. The other case, 01624, is being recommended to be dismissed as out of jurisdiction as the City of Pittsburgh Human Resources confirmed that the subject officer has resigned. Do we need a motion on these 2 as well, or no?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Can Can we get a motion to dismiss 02724 as resolved and 01624 as out of jurisdiction?
I will make a motion.
Any discussion or debate on these two? Hearing none. Take a second.
Second the motion.
And all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say no. That motion is approved. And then, is it last? No, not last. Next, we have two cases requesting suspension. Case 01424 from the executive director and 01224, both authorizing to suspend until July 2024. As requested, as more time is needed. Can I get a motion to approve these requests?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Any debate or discussion on these two?
Quick question.
Yes.
Even though it's under suspension, I guess my question is why would this be under suspension instead of the 30-day extension?
Which one are you referring to?
Both of these.
So they already went to a 30-day suspension probably 2-3 months ago. I'm not sure when. And now they still need more time. So they're in a suspension.
Oh, but they're still being looked at.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
If I may,
You're welcome.
Mr. Robinson, Mr. Davis, the process, these cases will all go to an extension if necessary, a disposition if that's the appropriate route to go. And if we are then still in need of gathering evidence or there's something outstanding, there may be a trial we're awaiting, the only other place for it to go is a suspension, pending that particular activity or evidence gathering. At that point, it comes back to you as soon as that task has been met. You receive that list of suspended cases to keep you up to date with what cases are sitting in suspension. But when a new case or there's like these two, this is the first they're entering that status. And so it's presented to you first so you're aware of it. And then you will see it fall to the list of suspended cases. And whatever task is awaiting, when that's completed, it'll come back for a disposition decision by you.
Thank you, Ms. Pittenger.
And just in both of these two cases, that it's anticipated that the whatever that outstanding task is will be completed by July.
Yes, at the very least, you will have an update in July, but the investigator expects that it can be completed by the July meeting.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion?
I had a question with 01224. The holdup in that one, is it with regards to obtaining warrants, or is there, what exactly is the delay, if I can ask?
I'm
Call
sorry.
Ms. Edwards.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, the holdup is still trying to waiting for information from the Bureau. And well, that's a whole nother thing. So I have requested information, but I'm still waiting to get that information from the Bureau.
Understood. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Kotler, I might be able to explain a little more detail to that, or background. Ms. Edwards is attempting to determine whether or not there was a report filed. It doesn't necessarily mean she will obtain that report, because that report may be classified as criminal history record information material, which we can't have. So trying to establish whether a report was in fact filed is what she's attempting to do. And that sometimes takes the additional time till the officer who responded to the call, till the file is tracked down. And I say that, I know it's electronic, but until they can identify whether or not it was actually filed. The complainant alleges it wasn't. She's trying to determine whether it was. But that will be what she's looking for, not the report itself.
Thank you.
All right, so still need a second on the motion to suspend these two cases.
I'll second it.
All right, all those in favor of suspending these two cases until July 2024, say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed, say no. All right, that motion is approved. And then I think we have a few cases on here that are prior suspended cases. These go back, some of these go back a little bit. So we have 19323, 16223 from the executive director, 13623, 08323, 04923, 01023. Yes, all of these, I guess, as you had mentioned, Ms. Pittenger, have previously been suspended as we're waiting for something to happen with each of these. Is that correct?
Yes,
All right, so there's no action on these at this point, correct?
that's correct. It's informational only.
Yeah. All right. And then I don't know, do we have, I guess, I'm assuming nothing's happened on any of these then, hence otherwise they'd come back to us for actions.
It's correct, Mr. Robinson. They will come back to you for a disposition.
All right. And then I think lastly, then we have excuse me, a handful of cases on here. 18122, 09922, 02022, 17721, and 8718 from the executive director. Do we need a motion on these, or are these just continuing?
Those are just continuing for informational purposes.
Yep. All right. I guess just a question on that, because I know I may have brought this up maybe even a year ago with some of these. They just hang out here until we can get some type of disposition.
So we have the ability to provide some reasonable closure to the case. And typically staff will go through on your summer break in August. So the break between July and September, and clear out some of those cases that have lengthened the list, the older ones. Sometimes we're never going to find what we need to say yay or nay to an allegation. So they do kind of hang there because we're hopeful that we can resolve it, or there's a policy issue, or there's something we see as a pattern. But I think, Mr. Robinson, you're correct. Some of them can be just taken care of at your next meeting. And
I guess the other side of that is this: do we stay in contact with the complainants periodically over this time?
Yes, the staff do. And I have to say, your staff are excellent at maintaining relationships with the people who come to us for help. They have a good rapport. They check in even when a case has been disposed of finally. They still keep in touch with these folks to make sure that if they need something, if we can be helpful, we are, whatever that may be. Some of the older cases, and maybe not as regularly as a fresher case, the communication would be less, but they do. If it's email or a phone call or something of that nature. I know there's one there from 2018, and that case is just going to have to come back to you for final disposition. We're not going to get anywhere with that. And it's more of a housekeeping issue, I think, than it is a substantive.
And I do think that is important. I'm sorry. I think that's important. I appreciate the staff for maintaining that contact, because even for some of these individuals who have reached out, they've come to the board for whatever the issue may be, and even if they can't get the resolution that maybe they were hoping for, I think people at the end of the day still like to know that they've been heard and that their case was listened to. And obviously, if that means following up every year, like, hey, unfortunately, we still don't have any information to move on, but like, we didn't forget you, because I think that can go towards that helps keep I guess the integrity of the board up, whereas otherwise people might start thinking, oh, nothing happens, I went there and no one got back to me. So I do appreciate the significance of that, even though I know that's additional cases you got to keep calling, especially when you don't have any updates. So I do appreciate the team for the work on even these cases as well.
They have done, I have to give kudos to the Office of Community Health and Safety, because we were fairly critical of them in the last year for their response or lack of response, whatever it may have been. But they have evolved into a very supportive resource, and our staff have utilized the services of that office. And by hooking up people who have had difficulties, whether it's seeking treatment services, whether it's a poverty-related issue, whatever it may be, our staff have reached out to that office, and that office has been quite responsive. They have come and met with complainants in our office. They have been very, very supportive of the people who come to us for help that we might not be able to help, but we can link them to someone who can. And that office deserves a credit for that. They've really evolved into something that's become a reliable resource. And I want to congratulate them for that, but also to let you know that your investigators, they will turn over any stone to determine what the appropriate resource is, if it's available, and hook somebody up to it. They go far beyond just assessing an allegation of police conduct.
Thank you for sharing that. I did not know that this team was working closely with them in that regards. And I know I've been trying to follow, well, initially anyway, try to follow that office pretty closely, as I was very interested in how that was going to materialize. Having heard some concerns across the board from folks on the force and outside. And I know some of the folks who actually are on that team. So good to hear that they're supporting our work as well.
Yep, they are. Thank you.
So I think at this point, that concludes the case review. If there are no other questions or concerns, and I can go back to the agenda. Yes, and so looking at on the agenda, announcements, our next regular meeting will be 6 p.m. on Tuesday, July 20. Hello? I'm sorry, I thought I heard somebody. The next meeting will be on July 23rd, Tuesday, 6 p.m. via Zoom. All of our public board activities are posted on the Citizen Police Review Board's website, which is CPRB-PGH.org. Also on the Facebook page, and also on X. Previous meeting videos, minutes, case action reports, and agendas are also available on our webpage. And board meetings will continue to be held virtually until further notice. At this point, I would open the meeting up for public comment, and reminding folks that we are limiting folks to 3 minutes. Do we have anybody for a public comment, Stephanie?
We only have Tris and Mark in the audience. They don't have a speaker, but they always say hi and tell us they love us.
Thank you for tuning in and making sure that we're doing our piece as well. I appreciate the community oversight on our part as well. Any other comments or concerns or business? And if not, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
They said, so they did. They said hello and happy summer. Congratulations and welcome to Mr. Wright. Sorry, we won't be with you next month.
Thank you both. I hope you all have hopefully you're not going to be with us next month because you're on vacation. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
And do we need a second to adjourn?
Yes.
We'll take a second to adjourn.
Second.
All right. And with that, the meeting is adjourned at 6:49.
Have a good night.
Everyone have a good evening.